Uh, check. So for this video, yeah, I don't know man how to play back the shandy or whatever it is. Nah, we're just going to start, kucha. Check the market, man. When it was on this uptrend, the first thing we're looking for is most the trend on the bigger time frame. And then we know the trend is most to the upside, but then we have this level here that it failed to breach. Ne man, wacht. So we mark this level here because it failed to breach here. Okay, now we go down to the 1 hour time frame for us to go get our entries now, because since let me say for instance it just came to touch now, man. It's approaching this level actually. Let me say like that. Which one is coming to approach this level. Then we go to the 1 hour now. What happened when it came on the 1 hour? Okay, it did touch. But what do we have? What do we have here? We do have our trend lines. See, we do have our trend lines here. And then, okay, let's start. For the first entry, like, let me see, what we saw was the market came to this zone. It approached this zone, rejected of it, and then it made a doji. After making the doji, it made a bearish engulfing candle. Yeah, so what we are waiting, or we're waiting for, is to see. Now we see that the momentum is to the downside. Well, that's the momentum only, but it didn't break the previous low, which is here. Yeah, which is this zone. Which is this zone here. This is the previous low that it needs to break. You understand? But this information to the right wasn't there first. It wasn't there. This was the previous low. It didn't break it. Relax. Go. Nah. And then, so what happened is the market did. If you can redraw your trend line from here, the market did this. It was touching here. It's a break and a retest. You understand? The market did break through the trend line. It's fine, but then we're now waiting for it to go lower. I know we're waiting for snipers, but then the moment it came to retest, like it went with a bullish engulfing candle here, and then it made this first candle, and then the first bearish engulfing candle here. The bearish engulfing candle to respect the retest. It's still at this zone. Remember, it's not a line. The one that we marked here. It's a zone. It's not only one line. It's this zone. This whole zone is where the market rejected on the previous 4H to the left. Okay, now. So what will be our first entry? Our first entry will be here. Since it's at the zone, it's at the zone, and it made the bearish engulfing candle. We set our stop loss above, and we set it to the previous low. I mean, yeah, to the any market where you put your TP wherever you want. Okay, so that was our entry. This is our first entry. Let me just shift it to this side. So we continue. Okay, so that was our first entry. But so you see this same zone, when we also use order blocks, you also know about order blocks most. So what did the market come do? The market, this was the, let me delete this line. Let me delete this zone quickly. Okay, but we know the zone is there. Y'all know already that the zone is there. Okay, order block is the last candle before the reversal. So our last bullish candle before the reversal to the downside is here. Ne? Okay, now. So what did we get? After this bearish candle, you could have entered here at this zone. Your second entry could be the one at this zone. You see, we have this zone here that has been failing to reject the times. We have a zone there as well. Okay, so let's say we have our first trade, and then you could get your second trade just just right next to it, this one, just here below. You could enter when it makes this bearish engulfing candle from that zone. You could have your second trade here. Let me just put the trade so you see what I'm talking about. Short position here. This would be your trade. Yeah, let me say we target the same area. Okay, let me just bring it to the side. Our stop losses would be above this zone because we're trying to keep it as low as possible. It will be slightly bigger, but we would be putting it above at the same level where we would put the first stop loss. That's a problem now. Can I just redo it? Let me just shift this one to the side. Okay, let me just redo it quickly. Okay, here, this is where we got our second trade, right? Okay, our stop loss, where do we put it? Just at the same area, but it's slightly higher because we don't believe it will go higher than that. Because if it goes higher than that, then the market is going to be bullish. It's a probability. It's all about probability and possibility. So we put the take profits at the same level around about here. Yeah, let me just move this trade to the side as well. So this would be your second entry. Okay, now you have two entries that you're inside. You took two trades. Ne? Okay, and then I have this marked zone. This marked zone, what happened when it came to this zone? The market went bearish hard, like it dropped, and then it was followed by engulfing candle, the bullish engulfing candle, and then this low didn't break this low, which means started to show bullish sentiment. But for us that knows about the order blocks, we already knew the market was coming to come back here at the it's coming to come back in this zone. You see this zone here? Yeah, but like we prefer taking, if you have sell limits, you would have placed them here. What is this? The last bullish candle before the down movement. This is the order block, right? So we would be looking for sales here. When the market comes back in this area, you barcode, you enter a lot of trades. So this would be your third entry. Third entry for the order blocks. This will be your third entry. Nice trade. You can swing it to the low. Tight stop. It's very small stop loss. Then you just shift it to the side for now. There was your third entry. Okay, let's just keep moving. Let's just keep moving. So what did the market form here? The market formed. We already know that we're looking for sales since the market direction is changed. Okay, let me just quickly draw this trend line and then show you something. You see this is now a head and shoulders pattern. It's a head and shoulders pattern. Here's the shoulder here, then the head, then the shoulder. Yeah, so basically that's what they call it, but for me I would say this was the higher high, then the higher low, and then the higher high. Then it made the first lower low, then the lower high. The first lower high. This would be the first lower high because it didn't break this previous high here, which means we saw bearish momentum. Why? There's also this is the bearish engulfing candle, which shows momentum to the downside. Yeah, let me just delete this zone quickly since we already have that one in mind. And then what do we see? What do we see? What do we see? We see another zone here. We see another zone here. Right? You see it? Yes. There's another zone there. You take that into consideration. Okay, we come back. The what is this? The market respected this trend line, and then it came for the retest. It made this first week rejection here after breaking the trend line, which is also in this area, which is in our zone. So we take our fourth sell here. Our fourth sell. Our fourth sell. I'm not saying that the market is always going to be this easy, but yeah, it was basically a lot of sell opportunities here. Our fourth sell would be this one right here. Let me just move it to the side so we continue. Our fourth sell with our stop loss slightly larger than before. Okay, that would be our fourth cell. And then what happened when the market was came from that cell? It this Now we see, let me just get rid of this zone again, since we already used it. Since we already used that zone, so let me just draw another zone that we see. We're talking about structure now, because the market is now forming lower highs. Yeah, whatever. It's forming lower highs and lower lows. So we see this zone here, right? Yeah. So what did the market come do? After showing the bearish candle, you are in this trade, right? It showed the bearish momentum to the downside. They started making weak rejections. It does not mean the market is going to buy, because all we know right now, the market is what is this, changing direction. So it came back to this zone. When it came back to that zone, we can confirm this with a trend line again. There, it's more likely like our third touch. You see, it's more likely to be our third touch here. So it's the trend line is also, it's not only a line, actually it's also kind of a zone of resistance, of support and resistance, but then it's just diagonal. Yeah. So this would be our, this is first, second, third, this will be our fifth trade here. Fifth trade. This would be our fifth trade right here. We take, when it comes here, we take the sell. Wait, what did I do a box? Oh no, man. Okay, this would be our fifth trade right here. Swing to the downside. But this time our stop loss won't be that high, it will be above this high here. Okay, then we shift this. There we have 5 good trades. What did the market do? The market has created a zone here. Okay, we are running in blues, so to say. And then the market came to create this zone here, pure price action. It came to create this zone here. If you could scale down to the lower time frames, most people would have gotten their entries here. You understand? Most people could get their 6th entry here, but so for us, we're just on the 1 hourly time frame for now. The entries part will be for another video. Yeah, but they are also good trades on the 1 hourly chart and stuff. You do look at the candlesticks also on the after checking the 1 hour, you go to the 15 and 5 minute to get your entry. But yeah, some people would get their 6th entry here, but then us, we, unfortunately, I would, but not always, the neckline, not always. Okay, so here we come, get a nice flag, nice clean flag. It's a nice clean flag. So what did the market come do? If you scale down to the lower time frames, as I said again, like this zone, even if you come to this side and you check, there's a zone here. You see all these weak rejections here. There's been a zone, and then it shot up with momentum. Even here, when it came, it shot down with momentum. So there is a zone here. There is some, yeah, price action. Yeah, like, let me say supply and demand zone, but then it's just a small zone, not really as strong as these ones here on top. So we would have gotten our entry here again, since we saw it came to this zone, made this candle, and then the following candle was we would have gotten it here on top if we scale down to the lower time frame. But then, as I said, that's a story for another day. So we would say this will be our 6th entry. Same targets, tight stop loss. This would be the sniper entries that we usually get. So basically that would be us. That would be us riding the markets to the downside. Those are the entries I would have gotten. So that's how I get my trades and how I manage. Cause yeah, and so to say, even if I have to come back here to these entries, this This is also the last bullish candle before the downside, which means there's another order block here to just confirm our fifth trade. This fifth trade had a lot of momentum, that's why it just shot down. It wasn't really consolidating like other trades here. When you just entered that trade, it went right to the downside because it was confirming the whole momentum to the downside. It did a lot of confirmations. So basically, yeah, this was the last bullish candle I was talking about is this one right here. It started here, so we draw order block there, then we ride the market to the downside, and that's how Ice Cold gets his entries sharp.